Welcome back, everybody. CanCast podcast, episode number 2. I love saying that. It's like it just comes off the tongue. CanCast podcast. What do you guys think?
It flows. Yeah, I like it.
Brilliant, eh? Remember we thought
is.
of that? I remember pulling into the show venue when we were setting up in Peterborough. I pulled up to you. I think it was both of you guys, right? I pulled up. The show hadn't even been set up yet. And I go, CanCast. You're like, what? We're going to change the name. CanCast. And here we are.
Yeah.
It just came to me when I was driving. I'm like,
The old rebrand.
The old rebrand.
Sounds classy, doesn't it?
Yeah, like it's like almost like we know what we're doing. It's like professional. So, But anyways,
semi-pro.
Yeah.
Semi-pro. Exactly.
A lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, we want to say, first off, big thank you to everybody that tuned into the last episode. The response was absolutely overwhelming. I still can't believe the feedback we're getting, people that are tuning into it, watching the whole thing on YouTube, downloading it on Spotify, listen to while they drive. We couldn't do this without you guys. We really appreciate it. So we're going to episode 2 here, of course. I'm Kyle Carruthers, your host, along with my co-hosts Mark Hunter and Sean McCall, and we appreciate you guys coming back. And a big shout out to our show sponsor again, YOLO Tech. You guys can check this stuff out at yolotech.ca or one of your key dealers that's carrying it. All sorts of stuff for recording your time on the water, powering your GoPros, right to your juice box, battery boxes, so much more. So huge thanks to YOLO Tech Canada for stepping up. And check it out, guys, yolotech.ca. And, man, it's been a busy couple weeks since we've been together, guys. So, Mark, you've been fishing. Tell us about
I've been washing lures, buddy, and eating snacks. That's what I've been doing.
You've been having some impressive performances lately.
I don't know what's going on this year. I seem to have good spells and bad spells. Like, it's been bad spells.
Did you change color up?
Nope.
Presentation?
Nope.
Downsize your line?
I changed everything, buddy.
You know what your problem is?
I'm trying to be Sean McCall.
You're not throwing a CJ Smasher.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's what your
maybe
problem
that's
is.
it.
Awesome. Well, there you go. We'll get into talking some qualifiers and fishing stuff very soon. But again, guys, we're going to be back in Peterborough April 2nd, 2023 for Canada's largest fishing show. This one's going to be. I'm going to say it. No one's going to take that away from me. This is going to be bigger than any show that's ever been put on. I'm confident in saying of what we got to produce. So big thanks to everybody who supported this, all the sponsors. And we actually got a pretty special guest coming up tonight. And here live in studio tonight, we have one of the best in the industry right now. Arguably the best. Depends. His brother might be better. It's up for debate, right? But we have Chris's brother, Chris Johnston, in studio.
Starting off like that.
How bad does that bug
Wow, that doesn't bug me that much.
you? You know what? I feel bad for you when I hear that.
That's all right.
So anyways, man, we really appreciate you coming in to talk fishing with us. You're home for a few weeks, had a little bit of break, so it worked out good for us. And what's it like? You went to ICAST, you got some downtime now. What have you been up to?
Man, not a whole lot. I've just been fishing. I mean, that's kind of the name of the game here. We only got so much time to make some hay. So, I've been fishing a lot, doing a little bit of family stuff. Sister got married last weekend, so a little
Nice.
foggy from that still.
No doubt.
A few 2 lanes, but, things have been good.
Awesome. So let's go back a couple weeks. Let's get right into the St. Lawrence. Heck of an event for you. Century Club. I know you didn't quite get that blue trophy, man, but what a performance. Take us a little bit through it.
Yeah, you know what? It practice set up kind of like how I wanted it to. I wanted it to blow so no one could find fish, and we had 1 day of calm weather, which was the first day, and it blew the next 2 days, which was exactly what I wanted. So going into the tournament, I never really knew if I was going to catch them or if I wasn't, because I didn't get to check a lot of the stuff just because of the wind, but neither did anybody else. So, I was just kind of rolling the dice on what I know, and, it almost worked out.
So when you're going into an event like that, you mentally, when you go to St. Lawrence, you guys dominate on it. Doesn't matter what you do, you know how to catch them out there. Are you mentally ahead of the game on that event right away before you guys even get practicing, or is it still always do you still get the butterfly effect?
I wouldn't say it's the butterfly effect. It's more the anticipation of the tournament coming up and more excitement than butterflies. You don't get the butterflies until you're at the last day and you know you have a legitimate crack at winning. That's when it kind of starts rolling through your head like, all right, you better catch them today. Like,
For sure.
that's when the butterflies come for me.
Mark, have you ever had the butterflies?
I've seen a few.
He's got a butterfly tramp stamp on his lower back.
I do.
So you never had them on the you never had them on the last day before you go for the
I haven't
win?
had them on the first day, the last day.
No, that's wicked, man. So that's what's pretty awesome about watching you guys fish the St. Lawrence is it's a lot of this year at least. A lot of Canadians are able to go over and see it. I know there was a few Canadians on the water watching from the boats and stuff. Does it make a difference when your family's there as well?
100%. Like the last few years with all this COVID garbage, it's it hasn't been the same because your family's not there, all your friends from back home aren't there, and this year, I had buddies fly in from Tennessee, from South Carolina, and obviously from back home here. So there was a little added pressure in this one for sure, and it sucks at the end of the day that I never got a blue trophy, but
So this came in through we'll do this question early. It came in through our Daiwa Q&A session. We're going to do a little bit later where we give away a cooler. But I didn't want to ask it, but I'm going to. Somebody wanted to know if you think you're cursed when it comes to the blue trophy because you've been so close.
Man, I'm pretty sure I am. Like, I'm pretty positive, and I haven't even touched that thing yet. Like,
So are you superstitious? Like, did you pick up Chris's blue trophy, or you're like, I'm never touching it?
Never touching it, ever.
So any other superstitions on the water? You're
Not
like,
really. I mean, no. It's just I won't touch the blue trophy.
Does Chris send you pictures of his?
No, I see it enough when I'm there.
I don't think you're cursed at all. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Like it's going to happen.
You know what? It may never happen. You just
You
don't
and your
know.
brother are
That's
two of the most decorated anglers in Canada.
For sure.
You cannot disagree with me. That's going to happen.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, you only get so many chances. Like, you can only go into a day 4 and be in contention. I mean, you can go into day 4 and be an 8th or 7th, but be 5 pounds back, and that you don't have a chance to win that day. So all you can do is go out and do your best and move up as much as you can. But you only get so many chances to win.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could be in, like I just said, 10th, but be 8 pounds back, and you can't win. You can't do it. And that was like at the St. Lawrence a couple weeks ago. Like, I knew that he was going to catch 25 pounds, and I needed to catch 30, and I knew I was going to go out. I didn't know, but I was going to hit my best stuff and catch as big a bag as I can, but I probably still wasn't going to win. And the day 3 killed me.
So I want to touch on a couple things because on the St. Lawrence, you've been right there a couple of times. And a couple of times you've had equipment failures. It happens to everybody.
Yep.
Like that's where the phrase comes, shit happens.
Yep.
Right? But it seems to happen to you
Every time in St. Lawrence,
when you're ready to rip and roll.
Yep.
Right?
Without a doubt.
Like I bet you the Vegas odds on you winning that derby wouldn't even pay 1-1.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you come out of that?
Man, I mean, like you said, it happens. It is what it is, and you control what you can control. And I went out day 3, and I had a bedded fish that I wanted to check on, and went to the bedded fish. Everything worked great. Pulled the trolling motor up, ran out towards the lake, put my trolling motor down, and it is what it is. And I had to get the problem fixed, and because I needed it.
How much time did you lose?
With everything that happened that day, 2.5 hours for sure. I lost.
And it was blowing.
No, it was flat calm.
Flat calm that
which
day?
killed me.
Oh.
And I needed the flat calm to be able to do what I was doing. And, it's at the end of the day, it is what it is. I lost a 6-pounder that day that I fought for 2 minutes and, went down to grab it and the hook just popped out. So, that day was just not meant to be.
You know what? We all have days on the water. Maybe not quite that scale, that much money on the line, right? But it happens to everybody. I mean, that's a tough. I think the biggest thing is like everybody's watching you how you handle this stuff at your level, right? You got camera guy on the boat sometimes, most of the time I imagine. Like everything's being filmed now. Guys are, you guys all got these YOLO Tech things on your boat. Bass is getting content everywhere. You got boats around you watching this. how many times are you like, I have to mentally keep it together, but I could probably light a match and burn this boat right now. And that's not knocking your equipment, because like Sean says,
100%.
we all have it. It's just there's days where like, money on the line.
Without a doubt. Like I was, if I never had a camera in my boat, let me back up. If Bass Live showed everything that happened, it would be different than,
So would it be a different sport in general for us to watch?
I mean, I think it would be more entertaining if they were to show everything and the backstory and what happens, but you guys don't get to see a lot of that. And, I kind of wish that they would show that stuff, show the lost fish, show the mechanical issues. And because, I mean, at the end of the day, it is all part of it. And,
show the drama.
Right. And, I mean, everyone has those issues, and you guys don't get to see it. So yeah, it would be a different show for sure.
And it explains a lot. Explains a lot. Wow, it's been a long day.
Explains it.
Yeah, explains it. But it's like, let's take NASCAR. DNF, right away. So-and-so number 29 is having mechanical failure. He's over here, but Bass doesn't show it. Right. So it's like, hey, why did so-and-so have such a bad day or such a bad derby? And we don't really know unless we really get an inside scoop through social media or something like that.
I love hearing that stuff.
Yeah,
I love hearing all the backstory, the behind the scenes, like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Because when I heard about you, I was like, oh, no, again.
Yeah.
I think we all freak out a little bit when we see no updates. Are they out of range? Are they not catching anything? No activity, I guess it says.
Yeah.
What? How do you feel, from the first time you guys were at St. Lawrence and stuff, how do you feel the competition in the elites is now? Are these guys figuring it out? They're obviously on your heels? And
100%. And, that's the part about the St. Lawrence that Chris and I are good at, is we always stay one step ahead of everybody. Because all these guys got to do is go watch Bass Live from the year before. And, I'm not saying that the guy that won did that, but he was in the area where Taco won the year before, and he's never been there before. So all these guys they don't know the place, and it's giant. So they go to the areas where guys catch them.
Yep.
And, with Live Scope now, it's not rocket science. All they got to do is cruise around, look for them.
So let's hit that right there quick. So one of the questions that came in, and we have over 30 questions, so I'm gonna put a couple out early and we'll put some in the Q&A session. But everybody who sent in for a question is gonna be entered in to win a cooler. So whether I say it now or later. Now, Live Scope. Okay. Obviously I'm biased. Love Garmin. Love everything about it. I love fishing Live Scope. It's fun for me. The question is, do you ever see Bass Elite or any of these tournament series banning live sonar like the Pro Muskie Tournament Trail or whatever it's called is doing? Do you ever see it being? What's your opinion on it as an angler? And if everybody's using it, why does it matter? Does it matter?
I can't see anyone banning it, just because it makes everyone a better fisherman. People are catching more fish. They're having more fun with it. In a lot of cases, it makes good anglers great.
How does it make Mark Hunter?
I've got
mediocre.
So I think.
Thanks for the compliment. Mediocre now.
So the way I decipher that is, you still got to catch them, right?
You still got to catch them.
So you can find them, but you still got to make them bite.
Right, and with every company has some sort of forward-facing sonar, and I mean Garmin being the one that I choose, everyone has the same advantage out there. It's not like, some guys have it or they don't have it. If they don't have it, it's their choice. Mm-hmm. But when you're at the top of the game and you're fishing for a living, I mean, you got to have everything that gives you an advantage out there. And I mean, I'll guarantee you, there's not a person on the Elite Series that doesn't have it.
Do you have the 62?
Yes.
And you know what? I really can't see. I can't see them banning a product that is a huge sponsor of their series. You know what I mean? There's a money thing involved.
Well, I think it makes,
you know what I mean?
Like you said, though, it makes better TV. Guys are catching better and more fish.
Yep.
Right? So
it's evolution.
Evolution, exactly. It's no different than I'm using whether it's hockey sticks, right? The argument is always, this or bats is better in baseball. They only allowed using wooden bats, stuff like that.
Right.
Would we get more home runs though if we were hitting different bats, right? So I guess there's different ways to compare it about it, but I really think, and again I'm biased, if you don't have live scope, you're missing out from a fun perspective. I love fishing off it. Maybe I'm looking at it a little bit too much, but like I love using it. Like whether we're fishing lake trout up north and dropping down on them, or on St. Clair a few weeks back, it's incredible.
Yeah, it is, and you hit the nail on the head. It's fun. It's video game fishing out in front of the boat. Like you're casting to these things now, but at the same time as these anglers are getting it, the fish are getting smart to it too. So like on the St. Lawrence now, they've seen it so many times where you used to have to catch them 30, 40 feet out. Now you're having to catch them 70, 80, 90 feet out.
So do you think that they're getting used to the ping?
100%. 100%. Like these fish used to be so stupid. Like you could, in shallow water, you see one, you burn a spinnerbait by it and catch it. And now it's everything you can do to get one to bite. So you get on top of these deep fish now, you can't mark them on your 2D. You cannot mark them on a 2D.
They're belly to the bottom.
No, they swim around your boat.
Oh, they're
You put the live.
Oh, they're on you.
That's interesting. Yeah.
they're
It's
on
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
you.
So we were talking about this on the last episode, the St. Lawrence River. Tons of pressure on it right now. There's local derbies. There's guys out there smashing that place. I still think there's probably, and I've talked about this a lot with some of the guys at work and stuff, there's probably tons of fish out there I've never seen a lure. Do you agree with that statement, or do you think it's going to get hurt like everything else?
It's already hurt. It's
Yeah.
I've seen it for the last 15 years, and it's a big body of water, but people don't understand how fickle of a fishery it actually is. When you go to these spots and you're taking fish. You got U.S. charter boats that go out, 3 trips a day, fill the coolers, doesn't matter if they're 2 pounds or 8 pounds. And, the fishery's taking a big time hit on numbers. But at the same time, the fish are they're big.
Yeah.
They grow big now. It doesn't take them as long to get as big just because there's so many gobies. There's so many crayfish. The water's clear. They're sight feeders. So, it's, and the other thing is YouTube and television. I mean, people that don't know can just look it up, go out, figure it out. And, if you have half a brain, it's not rocket science to go out and catch some fish.
So go ahead, Sean.
Do you think that the St. Lawrence has peaked? Because at the last event there,
100% it's peaked.
yeah, at the last event there, we had 61 bags. 61st was 20 pounds even. The lowest bag was 14 and change.
Yeah.
Yep. But
So-
the other side of that with that Elite Series is you got to look. You're never going to get 4 days in a row like the weather we had.
Yeah, that was really
That was probably the biggest key to the whole thing.
So do you think if you didn't have that weather, you probably wouldn't have broke the century belt mark?
Probably not. No.
That's amazing.
Yeah, breaking the century belt mark. I can't believe you didn't get out of the truck like this today.
Yeah.
If I were you, I'd be walking
get it
around.
yet?
No, I don't think you get it to the Classic.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, they do
Nice.
a big awards thing.
Okay, I got a question about St. Lawrence. Okay, so say 10 years ago, 18 pounds was a good bag on the St. Lawrence. Now it's reaching 30, maybe more. Okay, these smallmouth have grown so much in the last, say, decade. How come the largemouth haven't started growing?
I just don't think for one, they're not like a sight feeder like smallmouth are. They don't chase food like smallmouth do out there. I feel like, largemouth just sit there. They're lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're not going to grow. You're not going to see 8-pounders out there just because, they eat food when it's presented to them. They don't go out and chase it like smallmouth do. Like, you watch these smallmouth now on live scope, and it's unbelievable to see what they actually do, compared to when we didn't have it and you just mark them on 2D. You can't figure out, you go back, they're not there. They move. Well, they don't move. They're swimming around looking for food.
Yeah.
They're always in the same area. They just, they're looking for food because all they do is eat, where largemouth aren't like that.
So when you're looking for these fish, you know they're in the area somewhere. Are you just like buzzing on your live scope, or are you
Depending
on the main motor?
area, yeah. Yeah, looking for structure around the areas on your side image and stuff like that.
So getting back to what you said about YouTube, and again, we brought your name up on last episode, and we were talking about, is there secrets in fishing still? And I used an example, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I said that you and Chris have probably won more money fishing fluff or hair jigs before it was a big deal than anybody else. And then it seemed like everybody else got onto that trend. So take any trend in general. Is there still secrets in fishing, or between YouTube and the cameras on your guys' boats, is stuff just getting out there quicker than ever?
It gets out there quick, but there's definitely a few secrets left. A lot of it, we don't show it on TV, or we do it and people just don't realize it. We try to keep as much as we can into the bag, but at the end of the day, are you going to let a secret out of the bag to make it 100,000? You are. So
we also were talking about products. For example, you guys got the new CJ Smasher. At your point in your career, does it come to the point where you're like, I got to give up a little bit to mass produce a product to make a living, or do you keep it in the bag for a few more years? Like, where do you guys decide when you kind of coordinate with, like you did that one with Spro, or even I'm sure you're working on some projects with some other sponsor stuff. Like, how do you make that decision?
At some point, there's so many products out there that are similar now, or they're starting to get to be similar, where you're just like, you know what, let's make what we want to make, and let's make some money off of it, and put it out there. We've caught a billion bass off of it and made our money, and and then we'll design something different.
Right. Well, I'm going to hand this down to you right now. I want you to pull one of these out of there, and I want you to explain to the people watching why this bait is the way it is.
So
it's the CJ Smasher. So everybody knows. So the Chris
CJ
and
Smasher.
Yeah, the Chris and Corey's bait.
So there's a lot of things. When you look at this thing, it looks fairly simple, but there's actually a lot to it. And we did a lot of testing with this thing in the pool to get it to sit the way we wanted it to get it the hardness that we wanted it to. We originally wanted to make this thing really soft, and we found that the softer the bait, the worse the action was on this, just because it would flop down. It wouldn't sit straight out like
horizontal,
like it does. Right. So we had to make it harder than we originally thought, and we like the ribs on it. And the other thing is we wanted it to float, because a lot of these fish now, they get so pressured, like we were talking about. They'll sit there and look at it, and you can see them on the live scope sitting there. They're looking at it, but they don't eat it. So we wanted something that you could throw out there, let it sit, and you didn't have to do nothing, and it would make the action on its own.
So you're dead sticking it, basically.
In certain occasions, yes. So it's a stretchy material.
Look at that. Wow.
So it floats.
How many fish you going to catch on that one bait?
So this is what Spro did, is they only put 5 of these in a pack.
Right.
And, I was kind of hesitant about it, didn't really like the idea. But when you start fishing these things, they don't really come off. The worst thing that's going to happen is your drop shot weight gets tangled up in a mess, and you got to fix the mess. But at the end of the day, you still got your worm. So you catch a lot of fish on these.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone who, like I said, I haven't got a chance to try them yet. I have them, but where I fished last week, it just wasn't a place to fish it. But anyone I know who's tried them is like, yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And they're buying more and more.
Yeah,
the
well,
dealers are selling them.
I want to expand on this comment. You catch a lot of fish on one bait.
Right.
Yeah, well, look,
One bait.
stretch it again,
Right.
Corey. Like you could literally tie that thing around.
And there is other companies that make baits that stretch and float, but there isn't a single company out there that makes this profile of a bait that floats and is straight up catches them.
So how many colors do you guys make it in?
That's a good question. I don't know, but there's
quite a few.
There's 10 to 12.
Yeah,
Well,
I think there'd be
I'll tell you something right now. I was at Peterborough Pro Tackle today. I was out there seeing Travis, our buddy, and there are no CJ Smashers left on the shelf.
No, they sold quick.
Yeah, they're gone. He reordered as soon as they came in. He knew they were going to be hot. Everybody knows they're going to be hot. Guys want them, and they're gone.
Oh, for sure.
Because I was going to grab a few packs for tonight's show just to make sure that we had them.
And you brought us a pack of 4 instead?
I went home and because I got some packs in the boat, but I only pulled out one pack because I can't trust this guy.
No, you can't.
Right?
If it was a Senko, he'd probably take it home, but...
Yeah.
Dinger. Senkos are too much money for me.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, I was on Rice Lake the other day, and on my live scope, I marked two good fish. Threw out to them, I got the small one ate first, came up, and I lost my bait. I wasn't using a CJ Smasher. Pulled that out, and I swear to God, I threw it out and I watched it, and as it fell, as soon as it hit the ground, boom, the other fish came over right away. It was a 4-8 and just mucked it.
Really?
Mucked it.
That's
like that.
So, kind of gearing back to the tournament thing here. St. Lawrence, unbelievable. And then you come home, Thousand Island Open. You know, same body of water, basically.
Beautiful weather.
Different atmosphere, though. What's your mindset going into that event? Because like we were saying, there's some hammers that fish the Thousand Island Open. You know, I believe Renegade puts that on, and what's the first off, tell us about that event, and tell us about. I heard there's a story about you have to leave early for your sister's wedding. I think your partner went out and had to catch one more, and then I think there was a 7-pounder caught somewhere. So tell us a little bit about it.
I mean, so we'll start with practice, and it was blowing.
Yeah, rough.
I got a phrase that I use that I can't say, but it was blowing hard.
Yeah.
So it was blowing like crazy, and the first day I got there, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a few beers tonight probably and, maybe sleep in a bit. It's been a long week, so we did that. And I got out in the water at 8 in the morning, and, there was 6 7-footers out there. So, I checked a bunch of stuff that I could check and didn't really see a lot. And the next day I'm like, well, it's going to blow again. I'm going to drive over to the U.S. side. I want to check all that U.S. stuff. So I got up at 5:30 in the morning, was on the water, and I got till about noon hour, and then it was just ridiculous. So got off the water, and I get a phone call as soon as I got off the water, and it was my buddy Caleb Summerall. He was there just fun fishing. He's like, dude, where you at? I said, I just got across the border. He's like, you need to come get me. I ran out of diesel. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, no, I ran out of diesel.
And he was on the U.S. side?
He was on the U.S. side. So I'm like,
I seen your Instagram story.
It couldn't have worked out any better for him because I was 10 miles away from him. So I had to go get a jerry can, fill it up with diesel, go take him diesel anyway. So that was my second day of practice. The third day of practice, drove back around to the Canadian side, and again, it was blowing like crazy. So, we were just kind of going.
So who'd you fish that one with?
So I couldn't fish that with Chris because he had his kids and my sister was getting married Saturday. So he was hesitant to do it. So I called a buddy, Jeff Sloot, really good angler, and he jumped in for me. So he showed up Thursday morning of the tourney, rods in hand, ready to roll. So we're just like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a run. We're going to hit a bunch of stuff, and, it is what it is. We catch them. We don't. We made the best of it and ran across a few of the right ones.
What kind of history do you have with Jeff Sloot? Now, I know you guys go way back.
Yeah.
What kind of history do you got with that guy?
How do you mean?
Probably can't say it here.
I mean, I've drank a lot of Two-Lane beer with Jeff in my life. We started trout fishing years and years ago together, and we've been buddies for a long time, and he kind of did the U.S. fishing years and years ago before it was really a thing, and he came back. He's successful with his own business, and just guy loves to fish and hunt, and I drag him along.
That's awesome.
See, I got a chance to. I golf with Jeff in men's league, right? And I know that Jeff's got a fear of snakes.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
He hates snakes.
Snakes suck. Everybody hates snakes.
No.
they're just wrong.
His fear is a bit aggressive.
Nah.
Yeah, he doesn't even like the word snake.
I don't like the word snake either.
Yeah, no, he's not down with the snake.
I caught one going up into my bedroom window the other day.
What?
Yeah, I lost my mind.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure it wasn't Mark Hunter?
I burnt the house down. Yeah. We're looking for a place to live because we lit that house on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, where Jeff lives, it just happens to be like the snake capital of the planet.
Yeah.
Right? He sees
true.
snakes. He sees snakes in January, February.
That is a fact.
Right?
Oh, man.
Right?
That is a fact.
Or he knows.
Right where
My kid and
Is
Chris's kid were playing in the basement one day, and they come upstairs and like, Mom, there's a snake in the basement. We're like, yeah, whatever. So they go down there, and sure enough, there's like a 4-inch snake in the basement.
Really?
Right where Jeff lives now, by the way.
Yeah, no, okay.
Right.
No, I'm not going near that place. Then.
Right.
Screw that.
Jeff should have been here tonight to defend himself. But
Yeah,
he
invited him in.
He pulled the
We
shoot.
invited him in. So I heard, so you left early on the last day to get to the wedding, right?
I did.
And were you guys, like, did you have it in the bag by then, or were you still...
No, Jeff, I was pretty positive that Jeff blew it that morning. I am going to light him up because he's not here.
I heard the story.
Yeah.
So we long story short, we found a lot of big fish like during the tournament.
Yep.
And there wasn't a lot of them, but they were magnums. So we roll up to this one spot, and first thing of the tournament, and there was 4 fish on it the second day that we didn't catch. Just because I was like, you know what? We should probably save them. You know, if we catch a 5, we're only going to gain, a few ounces rather than if we catch it the next day, we start with 5 pounds. So roll up to it, and there wasn't a bass on it. I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Here we go again. So we go a little ways, and first fish we catch, Jeff caught like a 630. So I was like, all right.
Here we go.
Here we go. And then long story short, we go to this other spot, and there's where we caught a lot of big ones. And, we see one on the live scope, and it was being a bit of a prick. It wouldn't bite. And he threw out behind the boat, and he's just with his CJ smasher, and he's just letting it sit there. And he sets the hook. He's like, oh, my God, I got him. And he's, like, rod folded over. And I was just about to say, like, don't pull on him so hard. His rod's just, like,
Yeah.
bent over. It's just breaks.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
oh, my God. He's like, dude, that was a big one. Yeah, I know. Like, you could tell on the live scope.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
you
you know.
can't tell if they're 3 or 4 pounds, but you can tell.
They're big.
When you've seen enough of them, you can tell. When you have it dialed in, you're like, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, oh, my God. And at that time, I had to leave in like an hour and a half.
So you're kind of a little upset right now.
Right. But I mean, like, again,
It's fishing.
It's fishing. He didn't do anything wrong.
Were you sitting there like, what would Chris have done better? No, I was kidding, Jeff.
So I think it was the same day.
I think you caught the 7 the same day. No?
I seen 2 on the live scope, and Jeff throws out first, hooks one. I throw out, and I hook the other one. And Jeff's jumps, and I'm like, oh my God, it's a magnum. Like, it was big. It could have been another 6, but jumped right beside the boat, like 5 feet away. And I'm like running for the net, and I'm like, mine's big. Like, mine's big too. It turns out it was like 3 3/4. It just felt big.
Fought, yeah.
Long story short, Jeff's comes off. And it was just, I was gearing up to be one of those days. So at the end of the day, I'm like, Jeff, it's 1:30. I got to go. Like, I will die if I don't get back.
You should have been gone already.
Right. So he's like, all right. And at this point, we had like a 6:30, a 4 3/4, a 4 1/2, and a 3 1/2, roughly. So he needed to catch 1 or 2 more. So I'm like, dude, you need to hit here, 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 here. You'll catch one. Just trust me. So he drops me off, and Jeff's not like a big phone guy or texter or anything.
No, he's not.
He's hard to get a hold of.
Oh, yeah. He never answers his phone.
No. So he, weigh-in was at 4 o'clock. So my sister's getting married at 4 o'clock. So I'm like looking at my phone, and, I get a text. He's like, I called one out. And I was like, that's all I got. I called one out. And I was like, oh, good. How big? I'm like, how big? And he's like 4'6". So I'm like doing the math in my head. I'm like, all right, well, that sucks, And then next text is, Cal only has 19. He said he weighed him. So I'm like, there's only one other, basically Cal and maybe one other boat that could really catch us. So, turns out that we got the W, and
By 2 pounds?
By 2 pounds, and I think Sloot caught everyone in the bag that day.
There you go.
So
Boy.
That's a wicked tournament the way. Like they give away a bass cat boat too, I believe. Like that's phenomenal. See a Canadian.
I got a
tournament
question.
like
Best tournament in Canada, hands down?
yeah. I mean, I would say that it probably is. There's a few things that I would like to see different about it. Still, like I said, great tournament. I would like to see the boat go to first place and then, do 3 $5,000 draws for for the other people, but at the same time, I understand why they do it. It's probably the only tournament that fills up.
So it's funny how you said that, because I kind of had a similar thought this week. I talked to a number of anglers that were fishing it, and a lot of them, their goal wasn't even the win. It was, I just want a chance to turn the key for the boat.
Yep.
So do you think it would get guys trying to be on that more competitive edge, or is that maybe doesn't make sense? Because if you're in the, if you're going to win, you're going to be in a chance to turn the key anyways. But it seems like guys were just like, hey, weather sucks. We're going to, fish down here, hit the river. I just want to turn a key.
Yep. I mean, yes. The other side of that, I think, too, is if you advertise on the U.S. side, hey, $100,000 boat. I mean, there was a lot of elite guys that were over there that would have said, why wouldn't I jump in and fish for $100,000 boat?
They do it all the time.
Sure.
$100,000.
Right.
I think there was one U.S. guy there.
Yeah,
That's
there
the only-
was. Yeah, one U.S. team. But, whatever works. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a great run tournament. The people are great. It's extremely well organized, and, I enjoy it.
Now
Here's the other thing. I'll tell you what I dislike about it is a 4-fish limit.
So is that more because of the conservation side of it that they're doing that?
Yes, and
And the time of year?
no. So I could be wrong. I don't have my facts completely right on this, but I think it's changed to a 4-fish limit permanently now with that new season.
With the zone, the season.
Yeah, but you have 2 anglers in the boat, and you have to have 2 anglers, do you not? You're
Yep.
not allowed to go out by yourself, right?
Well, I don't know if that's true or not.
Or no,
Jeff did.
You're not. No,
Yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to sign up by yourself.
Gotcha.
Right. And
Right?
see, this is a whole different can of worms, but they open that season up from whatever until May the 10th,
Yeah.
right? And they're trying to protect the spawn. Here's the thing, I don't care, Bruce, how much research Bruce Tufts has done out there. I disagree with a lot of things that Bruce Tufts says, and there's not a lot of people that have spent more time out there than Chris and I and understand what the fish do. Here's the thing. He made it a 4-fish limit. He's changed the seasons, which, essentially stops people from fishing during, prime time, which in return hurts all of the fishing people that aren't going out spending money on lures, buying tackle, buying live scopes, doing that sort of thing. And, it just, I disagree with it. There's so many bass out there. So for every bass that gets caught off of a bed and released, there's 100 that no one will ever see. Because they spawn up to 20-some feet of water.
Oh, you're giving it up.
So it's I disagree with it.
No, it's a good point.
Right. Yeah. And I've taken advantage of the early season. I've gone out there in zone 20, before May 10th.
And it's fun. You catch them. Don't
Super
get me
fun.
wrong.
It's funny.
But how many other boats do you see out there?
That was my
Right.
next point.
You do not see
How
the
many
anglers
days do
out
you
there.
get out there where
Oh,
you can
dude.
actually get out there and
Dude,
fish?
I got out there once this year.
Mhm.
Once.
I could count 5 people I know that took advantage of it maybe for one day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And nobody else, because either weather's crappy or they don't want to deal
No,
with cold water.
it's
the safety.
it's a weather deal, man.
Yeah,
You got to
so-
play the weather. You can't just say, "Yeah, I'm going to go on Saturday."
Yep.
It doesn't work like that on the big lake.
No.
And,
Right,
and there's
right.
no way that those if they're protecting the spawning fish that they are done spawning by May 10th.
So
Not even
here's
close.
the other part of that. New York opened their season up earlier.
Mhm.
It's the same body of water. I mean, it
You
doesn't
could
make
spit
sense.
across it in places.
No,
Right.
they close it from May 10th to the first weekend in July.
I believe it's the first weekend in July, if I'm correct. But
Right.
that's
So-
the same
so
They
argument.
were still spawning, and it was open when we were there in Waddington.
And
which
it's the
was
same
2 weeks
argument,
before
too.
the elite.
Same
Yeah,
argument
but
too with
American
Erie.
fish spawn different than Canadian fish, right?
And that's the whole thing, I can't wrap my head around it. If anything, open it up earlier. Let people fish. Let people get out there and enjoy the resources. No one's going to eat them off the bed. Make it a catch and release.
I've seen a lot of people eating fish, and
let me back up. All the tournament guys, none of them are going out there and eating the fish.
No,
they're
no.
catching them. They're having fun.
That's right.
It's the people think that it's the tournament people that hurt the fishery. It's
No,
not.
it's not.
It's not. No one's eating them. It's all the locals that go out there, and I have seen it. They're smart, and they're smart now. They're in the spawn. Some of them will go around, see the bed, catch them, and put them in the cooler.
Yeah.
And
It's especially getting bad on rice for that.
Bay of Quinte.
Bay of Quinte.
Skugog
was like that.
used to be you go out and you catch 15 pounds. Mark could catch 15 pounds out there like that.
Well, I disagree.
Must be loaded.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Fish in a barrel.
I'm going to be very politically correct in how I say this. I disagree with the pontoon boat guide service.
Yeah.
I don't think there should be 20 people on one boat fishing one spot and everything being kept. I don't see why it's safe for a captain, if he's even licensed properly or insured properly for one thing, to operate an operation like that.
Well, that's
I think
what they
it
need
should
to crack
be
down
for
on.
a safety thing. And sorry to any guides out there. Like, I'm not talking the salmon charter guys, because they can put 4 people in their boats. They got the equipment for it. But if you want to go out there in a bass boat or a pontoon boat, like one guide for 2 people.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3 even, because you got to pay for fuel and make a bit of money. I get it. But the whole, let's put 20 of you on a pontoon boat. Keep everything you can. Coolers are here, boys. Throw them in. We got ice. Take it home.
Yep.
Don't agree with it.
No.
Period. I don't.
Yeah, that's an ocean deal. That's not a.
It's not. It's not designed for Rice Lake. It shouldn't be there.
Well, it's the same with, the Lake Ontario now. It's, they come out of Henderson Harbor, and there's, 8 people on one of these big boats. They go out and they drop live bait down, and every smallmouth that they catch goes in the cooler, and then they get their limit, go get another group, come back out, do the same thing. And, those are the people that hurt the population.
Right.
Right.
I would agree with rolling closures. Right. Close lakes for a 0 limit, but have a catch and release season.
Yep.
But this year it's a 0 limit. Nobody's allowed to take any of these home. We're going to allow this class to grow these years, right? Even maybe 2 years or 3 years in a row. Like Skugog's been closed for walleye now for what, 5 years?
5 years now.
More than that.
Right.
Well, more than that.
I think 2015 it closed, maybe. In the winter.
It was right after all the carp died.
Yeah. So anyway, maybe it's longer. Mark's probably right, but no, rolling that's another conversation all in itself, right? Now there's private parks or nature reserves. There's one here in Ontario. I'm not going to say the name of it because I love fishing it. It's incredible. I don't want to burn it. There's one in Quebec, but they have 300,000 acres, and they manage each lake like their fishery, and they do what you say. Hey, these lakes are closed this year.
Yeah.
But you're welcome to go over here and do this or do that. We're letting this one recuperate here, or this is only open for 3 months, or these ones, and the fishing's incredible,
right?
For smallmouth lakes, whatever, right? But
right.
they since it's private, they can manage it, and they manage it with their M&R or whatever, because they want them to be able to come in and fine people on that end of it. But it works. Now, would we be able to do that around here? Because you're saying, Corey, local businesses and stuff thrive on that, so we have to find that balance.
Yeah, but if you were to have a 0 limit, right, catch and release season, but the one thing, if it was a big derby lake, you wouldn't be allowed to possess. You would have to go to a catch weigh release if they would allow you to weigh, because I know sometimes they're sticky on you even taking a photo.
Yeah.
Right? So you'd really have to work these kind of kinks out.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, and to me, the way they need to do it is a slot limit. Look at Lake Fork. The place gets more pressure than any place on the planet, and I would like to see them, keep a 2-pounder. Go ahead, fill your boots, keep a 2-pounder. Why do you need to go keep a
5, 6, 7, 8?
Why?
Right.
It's same situation as deer hunting.
Right.
Right? There's states like Missouri has a limit. It's going to have 4 points on one side. They got big bucks.
Every place
right?
that does that, you
has
shoot giants.
Giants. But, and I'm not, whatever, shoot what needs to shoot, but it's true. I don't care who you are. If you let them grow, they will show later.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
100%.
And I'm sure the same policy in fishing, right?
Yeah. Make it it has to be between 14 and 17 inches to keep.
Right.
And it stops that whole thing with, I'll use the deer again. Well, if I don't shoot him, my neighbor will anyways. Not if he's not allowed.
Right.
That's right.
That buck can walk. If that fish can't be kept, and he'll go back.
Yeah. That's right.
And I think eventually as sportsmen and even people I want to eat it. for the deer. Well, you can still eat it when it's got
Yeah.
8 points. Just
Yeah.
that every year you're gonna shoot an 8-pointer.
Go shoot a doe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, at our camp, that's what we went. We started to manage the deer because the old boys used to come in, and it was if it's brown, it's down. They're meat hunters. They loved it, right?
It's the old school way.
Well, that was it. They would dog and they would take whatever they seen, and then when we all came up, we started bow hunting. We're like, listen, we're not going to shoot that little guy. We're not going to shoot this 2.5-year-old. We're gonna start to wait, and then now we're seeing up and comers that are,
It's working. So
in 2 years are going to be giants.
I think that theory can work in fishing. This is a bigger topic. We can talk about this all night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but I think you might be onto something.
Well, he knows he hunts enough property, right?
100%.
And you guys don't shoot little deer.
Nope.
You never have,
Nope.
right?
No.
How many big deer you got on your wall,
A lot.
right?
A lot.
It works,
Yeah, a lot. And there's no doubt about it.
right?
And we see it. We run a lot of trail cameras, like a lot. And I mean, like Kyle knows, we see giant ones. We watch them, from 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. And I mean, you don't always shoot them. They are smart critters.
Yeah, they are.
And, and sometimes a neighbor shoots them. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Right.
But if you shoot it when it's a yearling, you're not going to have a chance at chasing a 170-inch deer around. So, yeah, I get it. So I wish it was applied to fishing, but it is what it is.
Okay, so if you could change one rule, then you could do it tomorrow. Make an easier question for you. You could change one rule in tournament fishing, and we'll use Ontario, or one rule to the fishing regulations. What would it be? Just the leaving everything open, like you just said on.
That's a great question.
Yeah, if
what
I
would you
could change one thing, it would be put the season back to Lake Ontario the way it was and leave it alone. Let the people fish.
Yeah, that's interesting. So for you guys listening to this, comment on it. I want to see what everybody else thinks. So we're going to pick this one up in the next episode too.
So I want to talk a little bit about your drive, because everybody says time on the water, time on the water, time on the water. Now, I heard, and this stuck with me ever since the moment I heard it. I was listening to a podcast, Straycast, right? One of my favorite podcasts.
Yeah.
A little crazier than us.
Yeah, Pat's a beauty.
Yeah.
Pat's a great dude, and you were on there with your brother and Chris Grow, and they were all ribbing you. And they were talking about hockey and the Muffin Man. And,
Yeah.
and your brother said something about your penalty minutes, and you came out and said, "Hey, I got in all these fights, and I may not have won them all, but at least I showed up."
Absolutely.
And right there, I was like, "That's it.
Yeah.
Is that the way you think with everything you do?"
100%.
So is that the ticket to your success? Is just showing up? Like, it's nothing really scares you in fishing, but I guess in any aspects of your life too.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
You got to fail the odd time to figure it out.
100%. Like, there's been plenty of tournaments where I've sucked. But, like, at the end of the day, you're like, well, why did I suck? But you learn something every time.
Would you say you win, you gain more from a loss than a win? As far as
a lot of
knowledge?
times, yeah, it's like same as hockey. Like, you get in a fight and you get the shit beat out of you, you learn something.
So,
It's the same in tournament fishing. You go out and it's a windy day, or you can catch them when it's sunny, but when it's windy and blowing, you can't catch them. Well, you better go out after you just got your butt kicked, and go out and figure out how to catch them when it's windy and rainy and everyone else is sitting at home on the couch.
So I agree with that statement. Like, I've pulled the Mark Hunter this year. I had a couple bad events, right?
Really?
I pulled the Mark Hunter.
Really?
But when I figured it out, partway through the day, if I had to go back and do that again, way different, but learn
Same.
from it next time. So what similar situation, you know what I mean? So like, I came off the water and I was talking to one buddy and he's like, "Why are you so happy? You sucked." I'm like, "Oh, dude, because I figured it out. Like, next year when we come here, like, it's game over." You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. And I agree with that, for sure, big time. So we'll get Chris on the phone here in a second, but before I get Chris on, do you guys approach it the same way, fishing in general, or does he do things a little bit differently?
He shows up late every time.
Shows up late.
Yeah.
You're more like, get out of bed, Chris. Let's go.
Every time.
He's not a morning person, is
He
he?
is not a morning person.
I saw that at
See, I would have thought it would have been the other way around.
Everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
I'm the organized one. He's the mess.
Yeah,
Really, eh?
word on the street is that Chris likes his sleep.
Yo, buddy.
So whose boat's cleaner?
What do you mean? It's
Organized.
not even a question.
So like, okay. So
Chris, do you have any hooks? No.
so what about
Scissors?
Anything? Yeah. Anything?
what about the shop where you guys keep everything? Who organizes all that
Jeff
stuff?
Sloot.
Jeff Sloot.
Yeah, he does.
Sloot's a good
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny. All right, here. Let's get Chris on the phone here real quick. Give him a call. Hey, Chris, how's it going tonight?
I'm not bad. Just got the kids to bed, Kyle.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you taking the call. I know it's been a busy couple of weeks home for you. You had a wedding last weekend with your sister. Awesome. Congrats to those guys. Heard you guys drank all the Tulane beer in the whole country.
We put a hurting on them, really. Yeah, there's probably only about 24 in the country, and they took a beating that night.
So what's going on with that? You guys gonna bring that up here and distribute that, or work with the Lickbo, or what?
I wish I could,
It's
to be
above my
honest.
pay
But
grade.
they can't make enough of it as it is right now.
No
To
doubt.
supply the stores in the States.
No doubt. Well, we're here. We got your brother in studio. We got you on the phone for a few minutes. I know you're busy, so we won't keep you. But Corey was just saying that your boat's the cleanest one on the tournament trail. Is that true?
Probably on the whole Elite Series, most organized. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably right.
So what's your secret to your organization?
Well, I just started the year, have everything perfectly organized, and then at the end of the year, however it ends up, is how it is. So the baits that I cut off, like, they may not find a home back in a box until the end of the year.
Ever.
But they eventually make it back.
Into the
What's
garbage.
that?
But they eventually make it back.
Yeah, no, they make it back. They're without a home for a little bit in the
It
boat.
would be gross to know how many baits we throw out.
How many do you put a number on it? What do you think?
Thousands of dollars.
Thousands? Just throw them out because they just don't get put back in after you pull them off.
To be honest, they usually go into a bin, and then a couple of our buddies come over, and they raid the bin.
Speaking of cheap people, he just called me a second ago. We should have put him on here.
Was it Sloot?
Yeah.
Gardner.
Oh, Gardner? Yeah, well, we have a couple questions from Gardner.
No doubt you
Yeah,
do.
no doubt we do. We give a Gardner on after, no doubt.
If you give away a free shirt or something, he'll drive 40 minutes for it.
We're giving away a free Daiwa cooler tonight.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, so no, he's in the pot for sure. He's in the pot for sure. So you guys had a few weeks off. So what have you been up to?
For me, it's just been at home with the family, and then getting ready. I actually got to make a trip to New York to take someone out fishing on Lake O for kind of a sponsor deal.
Nice.
For 2 days, and then it's maybe 4 days to pack and get ready for the last two tournaments of the year for me.
So I know Corey fished Thousand Islands Open. We were just talking about it, but this is kind of a question for both you guys. Do you still enjoy fishing like the local derbies, around home, or is it just kind of? I don't want to say you're past that point because I know you guys love to fish, or is it more like we got to get some family time in while we can?
It's a bit of both for sure.
I want to bring it up, and we've brought it up in the past, but I want to bring it up again while we got Chris here. Do you guys still take grief from local anglers up here upset when you guys show up to fish a tournament?
Probably.
It's gotten a lot better, I think, for sure. But there's definitely some people that are not impressed when we show up to a tournament, and it's too bad because I don't know. When I grew up, there was like the Rocky Crawfords, the Azumis, and those people that you showed up to the tournament when they were there. You'd always just want to beat them,
100%.
and make it honestly makes you a better angler and work harder. So
Back
a lot
up
of people
to
have that mentality. So, but not everyone.
back up to the question you asked earlier about whether we still enjoy fishing around here. Like, I love it. This is our roots, like, where we grew up. Chris, I mean, he couldn't care less. He doesn't even whatever, But I love going out fishing rice, like fishing Tri Lakes and and fishing all the local derbies. It's where we grew up. It's what we, cut our teeth on, and I just enjoy doing it.
And it's like you said, you've only got so much time to make hay.
Right.
For sure. So, like, what needs to change? We talked about this a lot on the last episode, tournament fishing in Ontario, for one. What do you guys think needs to change? Like, what can we do to make it better, but most of all, like, get more people into the sport?
I think we need to get sponsors that are on board with what's going on. I think the lakes, I think, that need to be chosen to fish on are a big one, and at what time of year. And I think we got to fish for something that's gonna bring the anglers out, and I think that's probably the number one is, with gas prices the way they are, and expenses, how can people justify to their family that they're going to go out, spend $380 on an entry fee and win $4,000 with 40 boats?
So I think it's Chris, you got anything to add to that?
I don't know. It's a different market. When you've been to the States, there's a whole, like, the state of Texas alone has more bass fishermen than all of Canada.
Yeah.
So it's also hard to kind of do what they're doing down there and duplicate it here, because the sponsors, like, they don't have the reach that they do in the States, because we don't have television or we don't have online streaming. And
So
I hope one day it gets to it, but
so it basically.
I don't know if we. What?
Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off. My fault.
No, I can just hear some static. That's all. Go ahead.
So it basically comes back to is return on investment for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Anglers got to be able.
I think so.
Yeah. So, and you know what? And everybody's got to make money. You can't expect a tournament director to go out there and buy equipment and promote events and stuff. He's got to make money. You know what I mean? And everybody can respect that, I think. I think, though, like, getting the sponsors and stuff is we got to be able to show return on investment, which we need. We need not only the anglers showing up to get the reach. You need people tuning in and following it. Like, how do we get that ROI here in Canada?
Well, first off, I think that the anglers that go out and fish should be fishing for 100% of their own money. I think that the tournament director's money should be coming from the tourism.
Yep.
Right? And the sponsorships. And I also think some sponsorship money should also kick in to the anglers as well. I think that's
in an ideal world, I agree. But how many fans have you seen at our tournaments lately that are sitting spectators other than family members? So, and like, how are those sponsors going to reach a new demographic? Like, they're only reaching the same anglers that are fishing for their money. The 100 anglers that are fishing the tournament is the problem in my eye.
Right, but I think with the youth coming up right now, I think youth fishing is exploding right now. Right, I think we're starting to see a lot more high school stuff wanting to get into it. We're seeing. I think that is going to be the growth of our sport.
So, I think personally we need like 150 horsepower and under class again, because I think we got to get it back to where guys can afford to fish.
Do you think there's a magic number of an entry fee for like a one day? Like something that like $200 or $300? Do you think that's a big motivator?
It depends what's on the line.
100%. It depends on what's on the line. It depends, like return of investment. It depends, if you're fishing for $100,000, or would guys pay $5,000 to have a shot at 100 boats? I would. But it's a different, like Chris was saying, I don't think guys would do it in Canada versus the U.S. It's two totally different entities.
That's right. And just like Chris said, there's more anglers in Texas than there is in all of Canada.
Yep.
Right?
For sure. No, and I think, too, even like on our end, when you're dealing with like the manufacturer side, they basically treat Canada like a state, like its own territory. You know what I mean? And, that's for multiple.
Which is fair.
And that's just due on demographics and population. That's not anything different. It's just like literally like, we'll use the ammunition side. There's one dealer that would sell more ammo in the States than all of Canada combined, right?
Sure.
We'll go back fishing, same thing. Like, you get the idea, right? So it's just the way what we're at. But I think our biggest thing right now is, it's like any business. There are a lot of those tournament directors. Some of them are probably doing well, and some of them aren't. A lot of them are putting a lot back in. But I think, we got to find return on investment for everybody. Nobody's going to care if that guy's putting those many hours in and putting on events, making money. Everyone can respect that. Every single person. And we're not talking about any certain person. We're talking about just a business model in general. You guys go to work every day, you got to get paid. You go to work every day, you got to get paid to fish, whatever you do, right? So I think we just got to figure that out.
Is that a shot?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's your living.
Whatever you do part.
Okay, well,
you do.
I think. Well, then you know what? I'll give you guys props. Well, we got Chris on
Don't
the
judge
phone.
me.
Well, we got Chris on the phone still. It's a job to you guys.
Sure it is.
You're away from your families. Chris might not be organized, but you are. There's time that goes into it. You're on the water, sun up to sundown. It's a job. It's a job.
That's hard to do, man. You go.
It's not easy.
I've tried to go out there for 3 days straight. Ain't happening.
No,
Ain't happening.
I don't know how you guys do it. Like week, 2 weeks on the water,
Well,
like
I
back
walk
to
like
back,
an
and it's like, oh my god.
Throw a ball hockey game or two in there in the summer. I'm a mess.
So, wait, Chris, is it harder now? And same with you, Corey. Is it harder now leaving home when you got kids?
Oh, 100%. And that's why when I'm home, I don't fish as much. And because I got 2 months with the boys, they're off school, so I'll spend it with them. And in 4 or 5 years, when they can go on the water all day, or I'll be on the water every day around here again fishing. But right now, it's about the boys when I'm gone for, 6 months of the year. So whatever they want to do, really.
Right on. All right. Couple quick questions here for you, Chris, while you get back to your family. Largemouth or smallmouth, if you can only fish one?
Ooh, that's hard because I do get sick of smallmouth after chasing them for 3 or 4 weeks. That's tough. I like largemouth.
Yeah? Corey?
Yeah,
I
like braid and flipping stick.
I'd
and
probably say largemouth.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought for sure you'd both say smallies.
I'm the
no,
same
I
way.
enjoy it. I do get sick of it.
I mean, when they pull for 2 minutes, my arm gets tired.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you both. So, doing a lot of the team tournaments like you guys have done, what is your most memorable fish loss?
Ooh,
I don't know.
I have no idea.
You don't have one that's your brother's
That just
lost
stings you?
pissed you off more than...
Like more than when Sloot lost that one at Thousand
He
Islands.
broke it off.
Oh.
And lost one, too.
I always think of one that Corey was really dumb and
Oh,
broke
yeah,
off
that one. Yeah, that one pissed Chris off.
for some stupid reason. He tried to horse it out of milfoil. It was buried, so he straightened his rod and tried to pull it straight out of the milfoil. And I have no idea why to this
That's
day.
not exactly true.
And it was 5.5.
It
He
was a
did.
big one.
Literally.
At the end of the day, we won the tournament.
Yeah, but we got one by a lot
Shut your
more.
mouth, Chris.
See, this is the difference
it was
between a
just
guy.
dumb.
This is the difference with a guy with a blue trophy talking and a guy without.
Yeah. He knows
That guy's got a century belt.
Yeah.
True enough.
That guy's
First
got
angler in
the
history to get it in
only-
smallmouth.
the only Canadian angler to have a century
Right.
belt.
the only one not to get a win as well.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whatever.
So who would win in a fight?
We can find out.
We'll do that for our first live episode.
There we go.
So awesome. All right, Chris, I appreciate you taking some time, man, and hopefully next time we get you in studio here. So,
Yeah, thanks for having me, bud.
all right.
See ya.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
So I want to touch on something. So at the St. Lawrence event, you guys had your Wednesday, your off day right before the tournament starts, and I heard you guys went golfing.
We did.
And
We did a lot of things. Tuesday night, Thursday, Wednesday. We did a lot of things.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How was the golf round?
It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the best?
Our buddy, we flew in from Tennessee. Steven Stock is his name. He shot 1 under.
Wow.
My old man hit the ball pretty good. We had some good golfers around.
Who was the worst?
Matt Robertson. By far. We could get him on the phone.
Yeah, we could. All right. Well, let's. If you got my phone there, Woody, still, let's get Gardner for the Bass Debaters on the phone quick, and then we'll do a Q&A of Corey, and we'll wrap this up. It's been a long one. Josh, are you the manager for the Johnston brothers? Is that true?
Yeah, I don't get paid, but yeah. That's what it is.
So not even like 10% off the top of all endorsements or anything you do? Nothing?
No. Actually,
When we go
don't
into
even,
the garage and we're like, hey, where did all our rods go? Where did all our tackle go? I go over to Gardner's. It's in his garage.
Is that true?
well, I borrow stuff.
Do you give it back?
Well, no, it's gently used, so I just take it.
Well, that's fair payment. Yeah, I heard that you were. I heard you were in as manager for 2022, and Greg was out.
Yeah, well,
Greg's got to face the facts. He's just too busy for something like this,
No doubt about it. So, well, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on the air. So if I'm not, we'll edit this out. But you're the man behind the Bass Debaters Instagram page. Is that true? Are we allowed to say that? Is that public knowledge?
No last names, Kyle. I'm not a face of the page,
Oh, all right. So tell us a little bit about how that all kind of came together and started. It's really taken off.
Yeah, Corey was talking to his Mercer, wasn't it, Corey? And someone just said someone should make a fan page, and naturally I put my hand up and just said, sure, I'll do it. But it wasn't a typical fan page.
We have a group chat with a bunch of our stupid friends in it, and I think our buddy Darren named it the Bastarbaters. How you have the...
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, so...
Why do you think I wear glasses?
Wait. Why is it called that? No. So I kind of see a trend here. So Greg was too busy, right?
That's right.
And
Gardner
you work for Hydro.
So, yeah, okay.
So you're not too busy. I get
You
it.
got some spare time.
You down to 3 days a week or 4 still?
5 hard ones.
Yeah, 5 hard ones.
Yeah.
No doubt. So are you guys doing any t-shirts or anything like that still that the fans can buy, or where are we at with that?
Yeah, honestly, I got stuff. I don't advertise it because there's no money in it, but I feel obligated when someone asks if I got a hoodie or a t-shirt. I say I do, and yeah, I've shipped. I don't know how many I've shipped out now. To be honest with you.
Are we gonna be able to get you a booth at the fishing show next year?
Yes.
This time?
Yeah, I ran into hockey problems with the young lad there. Otherwise, I would have been there.
Nice. Maybe a title sponsorship too.
Yeah,
Hit you up.
I'll have a bunch of Corey's old equipment there for free.
That's funny because somebody did book a booth in the tackle swap side. I don't remember who it was. They pulled out too, and it was like, we need 10 by 10. I got a lot of old equipment I got from the Johnsons.
Wow.
And I don't know if and I was like, they just gave it all to you? They're like, yeah, don't worry about it. I won't say any names.
Honestly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's where all my stuff, can they just go into the garage at night?
You never know.
Well, you know what, Kyle? I haven't got a rod. I haven't got a pack of worms from Corey in 5 years.
So you haven't got any CJ Smashers yet?
No, nothing.
It's all right. Sean has 4 left here in the package. I'll bring them to you. I'll drop them off.
You
Drop
can
them
take
off
them
here.
once.
No.
You'll catch 10 fish on it. It's good for 10.
I'm going out on race tomorrow morning, so I could use them.
Are you
There you
going
go.
to the pontoon?
I got a sick nitro.
Right on. What time you want me at your house at then?
What time you want to go? I'm honestly looking for someone to go with. So if you want to go,
I would. I got to work tomorrow though, buddy. But I would.
Yeah.
I need a range.
Kyle's on the same program as you.
yeah.
No one really knows what he does.
Yeah, they're starting to figure it out. Yeah. So, but right on, buddy. Well, thanks for taking our call. I'm sorry we bugged you, but maybe
Hey, no,
you know
good,
what?
boys.
Maybe we'll get you in studio sometime. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, sure.
Fire
sure.
you up.
As long as I'm with Corey.
I guess you'll have to wear a mask though, because no one can know his face.
We got a mask from
Hey,
Mexico. We brought home one
He
here.
can use his girlfriends. we can get into that too.
Oh boy. All right. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Bye,
All
bye.
right. Cool.
Bye.
Oh, he's a good lad, eh?
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah, we bump into him all the time. Port Hope, eating dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Millbrook at the park, you're eating dinner.
Yep.
They go out much for dinner as much as I do, because
Yep.
like you guys say, I don't do anything, right?
Right.
So not very busy. Okay, Corey, we got a couple questions. We've gone over a few of these, so I put up a post earlier today. We're gonna give away this huge. Look at the size of this thing. I don't even think I can get in the camera shot. This would probably hold.
300 two-lane beers.
I would say you'd probably put more than 48 beers in it.
Oh, 100%.
You might be at 96.
Wow, you add ice into it.
Good 48.
Yeah.
Good solid 48.
Yeah.
48.
It would take all of us to carry.
You as Mark Hunter said, you can use it as your beach bag and put your towels in it.
I'm not a drinker.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Daiwa, big thanks to Greg. He gave this to us today to give away. So I put out a post on the CanCast Instagram and Facebook page. People send me questions, and everyone who sends a question, whether we ask it or not, is going to get entered into a draw. We put everybody's names in my phone and an automatic name generator app.
Wow.
And you get a chance to win this cooler.
That's how he met his wife.
If Gardner wins, we're going to another name.
So, anyways, I took him out. Don't worry.
Good.
Yeah. So, so we've gone over a couple of these, but maybe you can change the answer, short or elaborate, whatever you want to do. There's no time. There's no clock.
Okay.
There's no nothing. And so I apologize, repeat a couple things, but these are the ones I pulled out. I had over, I think I checked right before we came in, and I had like 73 submissions, which I thought was pretty good for people, who should be working all day. It must have been a lot of hydro guys sending in.
No doubt.
So I had the time. And we did this last minute. So it worked out pretty good. So I pulled out some of the best one. Okay. So I'm going to say a couple names. Rich, how do you say it? Rich Asen? He's gonna
Rich
Asen.
I always call it Asian, like Rich Asen.
Rich Asen.
Rich Asen. Okay, Rich, I love you, buddy. But anyways, what is one or the many things you dislike about fishing derbies in Canada or in North America in general?
I hate the bitching, to be honest with you. Like, people that whine and complain and, they don't catch them, or people are cheating, or people are, like, to me, at the level around here, it's, let's go out and have fun. And I don't think people are, grasping that concept. I think it's, I'm not going in this tournament because I can't win because, there's...
I'm fishing for second.
Right. Like...
So I was going to say this earlier, but we got cut off. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he's a really good guy. He's fished tournaments for like 30 years. He has tremendous respect for you and your brother. So what this comment is no mean an insult. He literally just has tremendous respect for you. And he's kind of done with fishing. He's moving on to other hobbies. And I said, you're not fishing anymore. And he goes, you know what? And he said, I've done my tournament fishing. And he says, some of those bigger tournaments used to do, Chris and Corey and them. He goes, I love those guys, no disrespect to them. And I always remember, like, I always said I wanted to fish against the best. But there's the best, and then there's Chris and Corey that are a different level.
Wow.
Now, and he meant it with, like, full respect, though, not. That was it. He was like, and I just, at the point in my life being whatever he is, I don't know what he is. I won't say his name. And he just said, I'm going to go and do something else. He didn't want to fish in his mind second, which I was trying to say earlier. You don't win them all. You also don't get a practice up here. Like, you guys are showing up fishing these things. 100%. You're not out on the water all week like everybody else. You're not up with the latest what's working, what's not. I don't really feel like there's that much of an advantage, you guys showing up or not. Like, what do you think?
I mean, there's some tournaments. Like, if it's a big tournament and I'm home, I'll go out and look around for a day or two. Like, why wouldn't you?
100%.
It's everyone else is, why wouldn't I? But at the same time, all these people, I mean, they spend more time on the water around here than I do.
Yeah.
Like Chris was saying earlier, we got kids, we got families. So we put all of our time in years ago when we didn't have that.
Next question from Blake Rader. What is the craziest thing you've seen at a boat launch?
Oh, this is
and if you got a couple stories. Oh, dude, I got a good one.
That's a great question, because I always say, you want a good story, hang it at a boat launch for an hour.
It's entertainment.
At a boat launch.
So I'll kick in here what you think. So there's a couple, we used to go get ice cream and go down the Scugog and watch people try to back their boats.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this one time though, we're at Whitfield on the Otonabee, and we were it was a Sunday afternoon, so everybody's trying to get out, but me and my wife are trying to go in. We go for a little sunset cruise, right? And we're six, we're 6 boats back in line. I can't see, whatever. And there's this guy and his son and this woman yelling, and they're trying to get this boat on the trailer, this big bow rider. And there's a hole in that launch, right? So if you get in it, your trailer, and so if you know where that hole is, boom, you miss it every time. So he clearly didn't. And they're yelling and screaming, blah, blah. And we're laughing. And then it's getting bad. It's 15 minutes, right? So I'm hey, you know what? I'm going to be a gentleman. I'm going to go up and help these people before they divorce. I get up there. I had no idea. It's my mom, her boyfriend at the time.
It's amazing.
I had no clue. I didn't even recognize him because she had her sunglasses up and he was wearing a hat. And I'm oh my God. I've been there the whole time. I literally get there for 3 seconds, push the boat on, they're out. And I'm wow. And we're just sitting there cutting them up like horrible people.
Best boat launch on the planet to go and watch is in Bewdley.
Yo, it's pretty good one too.
They're all good, bud.
Yeah. What do you got, Corey?
I honestly don't have a great story.
Well, see, when you guys launch, you guys are 100 boats. You guys rock and
Right,
roll.
but-
a lot of launches in the States, they're next level to what we have
Yeah,
here,
I mean,
right?
there's been a few occasions where I've, almost been in fights at the boat launch, but nothing amazing. Nothing great. I wish I had something good, but I don't. I don't have a good answer for that one.
All right, we'll move on. So we already went over should we ban live scope. Trevor put that one in, so we're going to leave that one be. I think we beat that one to death. Now that we know you guys like largemouth fishing, he also wants to know, he'd also like your waypoint, what your favorite Ontario largemouth lake is. He didn't ask for your waypoint.
It used to be Bay of Queenie because it used to be fun. Used to pick up flipping sticks and go pound
100 fish
faces.
day.
Yeah, but from everything that I've heard lately, it's been beat up and it's not that good anymore. But Bay of Queenie used to be it for around here.
Perfect. All right. Gord wants to know, and I already touched on it, but I'm going to bring it up again. Are you cursed when it comes to the blue trophy?
I gotta say yes.
I don't like that answer, man. Got to get the confidence. You're going to smoke. You're going to get one.
Buddy,
I
it
don't
doesn't
like it.
matter whether I
like
say
it.
yes or no. On Championship Sunday, I go out to try and win no matter what. So I lay it all out there.
How do you come up with a game plan before a tournament? Jordan's asking. And I'm going to add this in. Do you and Chris ever disagree if you're fishing it as a team event on where and how you should start?
I wouldn't say we disagree because we know all the same stuff. So, when we might say, we should start on this spot, and he would say, why don't we start here and hit this, hit that, and then hit that spot? And we'd be like, okay, we can do that. Or let's hit a spot that we think is more community and save the other stuff for later because it's not going to get hit. So I wouldn't say that we argue or disagree a lot on that. But we just, if it's around here and we don't have a lot of practice, we just go with what we know. And we both know the same stuff, so we just...
So you work on it for, I guess, lack of a better term, lots of old water, like spots you've had for years.
A lot of the time, yeah. And, we don't get a lot of time to practice around here anymore, so we just... we let our gut tell us what to do. If we fish a weed edge and catch two big ones, we're like, well, let's hit every weed edge we know, and...
You kind of get
Right.
You kind of pick up your pattern early.
Right, and I think that's one thing that we're really good at is getting a sense for what they're doing early and rolling with it.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, well, we should hit this dock, that deep weed edge, this set of pads, that rock. If we figure out what they're doing, we'll just run it.
So do you think that the big ones are generally doing the same kind of deal?
Sometimes, but not all the time. There's certain instances and certain times a year when it's 50-50. But there's certain times where they're all doing the similar
Your
thing.
odds are better.
Right, and that's one thing that we've come to learn is when those times are. So
Would you say that most of your fishing, your big bags, come first thing in the morning? No, it's spread out all day.
Spread out all day. There's a lot of times where we'll roll up to a weed bed and catch 15 fish, and you got your bag, and it is what it is. But there's so many times where you pull up, you catch a 5-pounder, a 3-pounder, a 2-pounder, and it just takes you all day to get 5 big ones.
What's the quickest you've ever sealed the deal in a one-day derby?
We were on Queenie one time, and it was back in the heyday, and there was like slop mats everywhere. And we rolled up, put the poles down, and there was a hole in a mat, and I'm watching fish go through this hole, and I'm like, are those bass? Chris goes, I don't know. Flips a jig out, and they're just like, oh. I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't even fish. He was flopping them in the boat so quick, I couldn't even fish.
So he sealed the derby up. I think it was the B1 when he had to fish it alone because you had to come in for the second. Didn't he have like his smallies and like the first? He had to make the run.
Yeah, he
and then
caught
he
him
done. He was
within
done.
40
Yeah,
minutes.
he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so many times where, it happens. Boom.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's when you can do your homework and, things got to set up right to be able to do that.
We already answered this one, but we're going to give you another sponsor plug again. Why do CJ Smashers only have 5 baits in the package?
just because they're extremely durable and they are expensive to make. So, for whatever reason, they've chose to do 5 in the package. And once you use them, you'll realize that you can catch a lot of bass on one bait. So at the end of the day, I think it works out once guys buy them and realize, okay, this isn't just a one fish bait.
Oh yeah, you buy one pack. I'll tell you right now, it will outlast 5 other packs of bait you buy.
Well, we noticed you've been trying to share that pack all night.
My pack.
Yeah.
Why is it missing one?
That question was
where'd
from
that one go? I'm missing one.
That question was
Mark?
from Mary Thorne.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here. We got a question from Kevin Cox, which is kind of related to this. Are you working on anything else now from Spro? Like, you plan on releasing more stuff through that line?
Top secret, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the answer.
There's the answer.
Are you working on any projects of any company right now that you're very excited about?
No comment.
There you go. I know.
Oh.
I know he's on to something. He's like, yeah, and it's going to be good.
So
One of these days will tell.
When are we going to see your Elite Series, Rod?
It's a great question. I don't know the answer.
This is not the way I want this conversation to go. This wasn't the direction we were going for.
I'll tell you what. I do have some final samples of some rods, and I don't know that I'll be making any more changes to them.
When am I going to get to try one of those?
Tomorrow, if you want.
I hear they're absolutely incredible.
They're good. They are good.
I think everybody is going to be very excited.
And can you say what technique?
I don't know.
Better not.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Okay.
Largie and a smallie?
Can't say anything.
Rod of each?
Can't say anything.
Oh my God. I'm so excited for these rods. You have no idea.
We could take a poll on the Facebook page where the people want to see. But
That's a good one.
all right, and we should do that. I'll get that past the guys. Okay, this one came in twice from 2 different people, Garrett and Adam, 2 different guys. What do you eat all day?
Nothing.
Because when you're doing like a 4-day derby, like it's energy, and like people are legitimately like, what does that guy eat all day?
So, and I mean, you ask anyone that fishes with me in a tournament, I eat nothing all day. I get up in the morning, I have a coffee, that's it. I mean, I'm not saying you should do that by any means, because it's just
Do you drink water?
not usually.
So do you, like when you come off the water, do you pound?
I'll pound some waters, but like my head's just so focused in like doing what I'm doing. Like when I got Marshalls or camera guy, like, dude, you need a water? I'm like, no. Like I just like it's bad. It's not healthy. It's whatever it is, but that's just the way I do it.
Do you ever get a Marshall and you're just like, dude, just get out of the way? Are they pretty good?
Marshalls are good. It's I've had maybe 1 or 2 co-anglers in my life when you fish like a
Pro-Am or something?
Right, like an open back in the day or the Toyota series or whatever, where you're just like, I want to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Like I've had that maybe once or twice, but for the most part, man, people are good, they're respectful, and they're just happy to be out there learning.
Adam Gregory, do you ever call fish or do you just catch the big ones? I swear that's all it seems like you do.
I don't know. We call them, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
all right.
It's a hard life when you call 5-pounders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I do it regularly, right?
We got Daryl Taylor. He's asking, do you think that you would be bringing the bags in if it wasn't for live scope? Like, would they be that big?
Probably because you. So here's the thing with that, and we've touched on it a little bit, is these fish aren't dumb. They learn as we learn. So you would probably, I'm not going to say they'd be as big, but they'd be close, because you would just have to fish for them differently. And right now, I mean, we're all so used to live scoping them. I mean, there's no way around it. And if you're not looking for them on the live scope, you're looking for structure. You're just relying on it, and that's not the way it used to be. It used to be you sit down in the driver's seat and you side image and you mark all the rock piles and you cast to them. And that's where the fish live. Just now you can tell how many are on it.
So I'm a big believer that everyone's got all these electronics. I still think most people we sell them to don't even know how to use them, right?
I agree.
Like, I think if you were like wanting to start a business and you were really good at using them, I'm probably going to give out a Magic Mousetrap here, and you could show people like really how to use them and like what to look for and how to do this and how to do this on them, do this on them.
So here's a good example.
You'll make money.
Here's a good example.
You'd make money.
Cal Clemson called me the other day, and he's like, dude, my brother and Les Zachney seeing you guys, you know, in the Thousand Islands Open. He goes, dude, you don't use a live scope like we do. Like we use it totally differently. And that's the way it is. People use it different ways. And, you know, I got a system that works for me. Cal's got a system that works for him. And at the same time, we use it two totally different ways. Cal finished second, we finished first. You know, so there's no one right way to use it.
No, I totally agree with that. But
what about factory settings? Are you messing around with that unit?
I do mess around with it a bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, you can almost pull it out of the box and
100%.
they're getting so good now.
Yeah,
So
100%.
good.
You can pull that unit out of the box, put it on, and use it, and you're doing
Right.
well.
If we'll get yours plugged in, and you'll know what it's like.
Yeah.
Power buttons on the top.
Hey, my graph tells me when it's deep enough to just go.
Yeah. No, I'm just bugging you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Who's better, you or Chris? It says Chris's manager, Greg.
wow. I thought he was my manager.
It says Greg. I don't know. It's just
I don't know.
that's what the email came
I
through.
don't know. We'll have to see at the end of the year when Greg does his final tally.
Josh, can you please ask him if he only has the 2500 exists in the garage or if there's any 3000s around?
Just 3,000s.
The Daiwa exists.
And I am missing a few.
What does retirement look like for Corey Johnson?
Ooh, that's a good
That
one.
is a good
That's a
question.
good question.
I have thought about it a bit. Like, I don't know how long I want to do it. You know, it's
Like, are you going to be, like, fishing this thing until you're 50? Or you're
so
like, I'm going to put 10 good years
Here's
in?
what I said. If I ever win an elite, an AOY, and a classic, I'm done.
Go out on top.
Like, and I'm not saying I'll ever do that, but if, you know, something happened and like,
Dude, every year you are in the running for AOY.
dude, yeah.
Every year.
You know, it's one of those things, dude. Like, I get mad inside because of that 1 year.
Yeah, you would already had your egg.
And that all came down to one day on the water.
I would have
And
had
equipment
had a
failure.
blue trophy and an
Yeah.
AOY in
Yeah.
1 year.
It all
And,
came down to one day
And equipment
It
failure.
did. And
not wearing a watch.
so like Chris and I got two boys each. All they want to do is play hockey, hunt, fish, you know, play sports. So like my dad did, you know, he likes to put his feet up and watch us, you know, and I mean, he's as good as anyone when it comes to fishing. He just
I think he loves that.
100% he does. And like now that we have kids, I see it, you know, and there'd be nothing more than for me and Chris to go to a tournament, put our feet up, have some beers, and, you know, watch the boys do what they do. And
So is it going to be Johnston team versus Johnston team, or is it going to be like cousins versus cousins?
I'm
or
not saying that. I'm
are
not
they going to
saying
mix
that,
it up a little bit?
I'm not saying that every one of them will do it. You know, it's there's no doubt in my mind that they'll be athletes. I'm not going to say that, you know, they'll play in the NHL or they'll do whatever, but you know, I think they'll have some opportunities to be able to do whatever they want. Like Chris's kids are going to be freaking giants. Like, you know, they're going to be like 6'6". Like there's some genetics over there that are, you know, me and Chris aren't above 5'10". So, you know, Chris's oldest, I mean, he's an excellent hockey player. He's 4 years old. Like, I mean, it doesn't mean anything now, but, you know, he's not going to get any worse. And he loves to play, and, you know, who knows? Possibilities are endless. They do what they want. You know, I'll support them, and I got no issues with it.
Awesome. That was a good question. We're going to have to enter you into the draw for the cooler now.
Yeah.
I'll wear it on my head.
Uh,
You can fit it together.
Yeah, we could.
Hey, we could fish out of it.
well,
I'll
think
catch fish. You won't.
No, I won't.
for sure. No, I think that's a good way to, you know, wrap this up, unless you guys got anything good. But I want to thank, well, first off, I want to thank YOLO Tech for stepping up and sponsoring these first few episodes to get us going here. Really appreciate it. Awesome products, guys. If you want to do any filming or anything like that on the water, you know, like when you catch that fish of a lifetime, like I really wish I had that on camera. Plug your stick in, hit the button, walk away. You're good for the day.
Peterborough Pro Tackle, they've only got 2
Peterborough
left.
Tackle's got them. Raider World's got them in right now.
90% of the Elite Series run those. We have to run GoPros in our boats. That's the rules, and I mean everyone has those.
No,
YOLOTech.
YOLOTech.ca. So big shout out to those guys, and big thanks to Tim as well for stepping up with that. And then all the sponsors that make the CanCast, formerly the Peterborough Tackle Swap and Fishing Show, possible. All the vendors. That's what this all came from. That
OK
whole
Tire?
event. OK Tire, Vinny's always stepped up and helped us out. Huge thing. Just everybody. Garmin giving away a unit every year. The manufacturers that show up to it. And I'm telling you right now, April 2nd next year is going to be something spectacular. So as we start getting closer to the show, we're going to start releasing details on what we're doing, who's coming on board. We've been pretty tight-lipped because we got some very, very exciting things happen that are going to rock this a little bit, and I just can't wait. But I want to thank everybody. Corey, I want to thank you, and before we let it go, of course, Woody for producing this, and you guys as well. Some final thoughts. How are we going to leave this be? What are you thinking, Mark?
How come always first? Okay.
Because you're the best and the worst at the same time.
Don't be afraid to pick it up and help a friend out. I read this the other day, and it says, teamwork makes the dream work. I just stuck with me. I thought, you know what?
Sounds
Is
wrong.
that the first time you've heard that saying?
I think it is. It is.
Wow.
First time I remembered it anyways.
There you go. I like that hat you're wearing.
You like that?
Yeah, I should get one of those.
We'll get you one.
Cool. You got one too.
Yeah. That's a mint hat.
Bass Nation, baby.
He called me today before the show. He goes, what hat you wearing? I said, are you kidding me? Are we really doing this?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Start planning outfits.
Can't wear the same hat.
Yeah. Sean?
My final thought, don't wear the same hat as your buddy.
There you go.
That was terrible.
So we, Chris and I went to dinner or lunch, yesterday with Under Armour.
Yep.
Show up with the same shirts on, same sandals. A little bit embarrassing.
So that's
Waitress
See?
laughed at
Makes
us.
a phone call.
No, it's
Wow.
You know where I'm coming from
Yeah.
now, right?
So
Yeah.
at Greywood, like when we go to the meetings, because like we rep Under Armour, right? So we're like, it will literally be a text, hey, who's wearing what? Because like we all get the same samples, and we'll all show up wearing the same shirt. Or like me and Greg showed up to the airport one day wearing like these bright orange hoodies. And we look like a couple pylons going down the escalator.
Oh, your pylons,
right? Yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
These Under Armour sandals
Fat
are
tires.
the bomb.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
The bomb.
They are. They're making some awesome products too for next year. I can't
Check
wait.
this out. Here's my fat tires. I wear them a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Fat tires.
Yeah, we're all wearing
Right?
fat tires. Yeah, I lost mine, but they're down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyways, so don't wear the same outfit as your buddy into a business meeting, or in general.
It's important. And fish them. They're
Nice.
so worth it.
CJ Smasher. I want to say one thing. I want you guys to go and I want you to buy something for your local tackle store. There's a lot of tackle stores right now that got a lot of stuff in because they brought it in when we as anglers needed them to be there when we were going crazy during COVID. There's a lot of awesome stuff out there. Go and support your local dealer. That's my final thought. And buy yourself a YOLOTech. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Woody, for everything. And we will see you guys next episode.